So the industry as a whole, I'm lucky and fortunate enough, and we, there's about 50 of us here, are lucky and fortunate enough to work in an industry that is large, growing, and really diverse, right? So you see in terms of the size of the industry, it's about a $63 billion industry, growing at about 4% per year. And there's a number of different sort of segments that we've broken out here. I'll talk about them in a second. And you can see, other than the smallest one at the top, that live pet segment, everyone is growing in kind of that low to mid single digits, right? Live pet being the one, it's smallest, it's kind of flat to slightly declining. And I mentioned the industry was really diverse. If you think about what's listed on the slide here, right, it's everything from food or consumables or kind of the grocery space to supplies, which for us is everything from pet furniture to toys to apparel and everything in between. And vet care, which is effectively the entire healthcare industry for pet, as well as services. And I'll talk a bit about what our services business is a little bit later, but we play in a variety of spaces from pets hotel to grooming to training, and then you see live pet at the top. And so if you really kind of think about this, if we were in the human space, you wouldn't really have one player standing up here able to talk about all that's going on across all these different areas. And actually, in many cases, places like the vet and a lot of the aspects of services wouldn't even really be here talking to you in a retail setting or for a retail conference. So we have the pleasure of kind of working on a lot of different sub-industries and a lot of different kind of problems and projects, which keeps it kind of interesting along the way. So why is the pet industry large and growing? The short version is there's a lot of pets, right? You can see there's almost 70 million households in the US that have pets, the overwhelming majority of which are dog or cat. And then, as you know, there's many families that have multiple dogs or multiple cats or dogs and cats. And so there's a lot more than 70 million pets in the US. So do me a favor, by show of hands, how many people in the audience have a pet? So I'm a little blinded by the lights here, but and I know I'm cheating a little because I know there's keep your hands up, I'm sorry to do this to you. There's a PetSmart section over there that clearly is cheating, but I think it's more than half of the audience here. And do me a favor, raise your hands again if you view your pet as a member of your family. Right? I'm pretty sure virtually everybody that had you can put your hands down now, sorry to keep making you kind of do that. You guys are not alone, right? 95% of pet parents view their pets as members of their family. It's kind of why we call them pet parents, right? We don't view pets as belongings or things or objects. They're loved ones. They're members of the family. They're our brothers and sisters or our kids or our grandkids or our best friends. And we treat them that way too. So there's this thing in the industry that we call the humanization of pets. And effectively what that is it's are we laughing at something? It's essentially treating our pets like humans and associating human-like behaviors on them. And you can see there's some interesting stats here that are pretty sort of shocking if you sort of think about it, right? So 71%, so almost 3/4, I won't make you raise your hands anymore, I promise. Almost 3/4 of pet parents sleep in the bed with their pet. That's pretty amazing when you consider that some people have a pet tarantula. None of them are sleeping with the tarantula. None of them are sleeping with the tarantula. We're buying our pets presents, right? Almost two-thirds of us are buying our pets holiday presents. Almost half are buying our pets birthday presents. And if you think about how many folks like myself and our family really have no idea when our pet's birthday is, that's a shocking figure and really just an excuse to go spoil our pet, right? And then about 1/4 of us are dressing our pets in clothing. And as you can see from the picture up there, they often do a better job pulling the look off than their human counterparts. Right, they're super cute. All right, so who are we? How do we play in the space? The short version is we're the largest player in the space. So pun intended, we're the big dog, right? So we have more than 1,500 stores in the US and Canada. So we have a lot of locations out there, over 55,000 associates. We play across the entire spectrum of the industry that I described earlier. So we've got a lot of SKUs to sort of meet the needs across all that entire spectrum. So over 11,000 SKUs. We're the #1 player in the services space, and I'll spend a little bit of time talking about that in a little while. And then we've got a number of different sort of assets in the portfolio, ranging across the brick and mortar side of the business, which is the largest part of the company, to some e-commerce sites and then some educational and adoption-oriented sites as well. So a couple that you may not be familiar with, the blue circle, or circle-y squarey thing, Ask Pet MD, that's an app that effectively allows you to do research and go get information and get vet-qualified responses for questions or concerns that you have related to the health of your pet. And All Paws is another site as a company we acquired sometime within the last year, and is really focused on helping match up adoptable pets to folks looking to adopt a new family member. So think of it like a searchable database of adoptable pets. And many of you have grabbed me in the hall and asked about the recent press release that we had from a couple days ago. I won't spend a lot, I will talk about that a little bit, but I won't spend a lot of time talking about that. But obviously, clearly, we continue to grow our portfolio of assets and are looking to continue to add and grow the company. And then finally, we've got a very large partnership with Banfield to offer full-service vet hospitals effectively in approximately 900 of our stores. So we have a huge presence across the entire industry and are a big player in sort of the commerce side of the space. But that's not really all we do. We spend a lot of time, actually, on the animal welfare side of the space as well. And through our PetSmart Charities, we are actually the largest contributor to animal welfare in the United States, right? So we are a... Right? We actually have partnerships with literally thousands of animal welfare organizations across the country to help make sure that we can have adoptable pets in all of our stores pretty much all the time. So we have adoption events consistently across the chain. Periodically we do, once a quarter we do something we call the National Adoption Weekend, which is a very focused, nationwide, every store at the same time adoption event. And to kind of put this into scale and to kind of give you guys a sense for sort of the magnitude of this, this year we will adopt out over 500,000 dogs and cats out of our stores. And since you can clap again, because it's awesome, right? You're going to want to clap again, because actually, since we've been doing this in the early 90s, we've saved over 7 million lives through this program. And I feel like it's like a State of the Union address, right? So, and one thing to point out, this is not just something that, we get to come do and say at conventions like this and make ourselves look and feel good. This is actually something that's really important and critical to us as a team, and we take as seriously as things that are driving the business. So as a member of the senior team, we get together every week and we talk about the metrics that are driving the business and the metrics that are important to us as a team. And along with sales and margin and expenses and profitability, which you would imagine every retailer is going to be talking about, we actually talk about the number of adoptions that happened in our stores in the prior week and what we're doing with respect to adoption events in the coming week. So this is something that we take really, really seriously. So switching gears for a second, going to talk a little bit about our transition from a public to a private company. The short version of the story is, circa 2014, the investment community felt like we maybe were playing it a little bit too conservatively, a little bit too safe, and there was an opportunity to really take some of the cash we were generating and instead of return it back to shareholders and sort of hold on to it, really drive and invest the business for growth. Led to an acquisition by private equity firms led by BC Partners out of their New York office in early 2015. And as often happens in transactions like that, along with the transaction, they brought some new members, some new thinking onto the leadership team, including Michael Massey, our CEO, who spoke last year, and myself. And one of the first things we did as a new team, we wanted to kind of get out there and gather some information and get an understanding of how we were viewed, both by our associate base as well as by our customer base. So we talked to pretty much our entire associate base and then about 20,000 pet parents. So these are our customers and customers of our competitors. And we sort of asked them, how are we viewed? What are the things that we're really good at? What are our opportunities to really drive the business forward? And the short version is, look, we're the big player in the space. They view us as highly convenient. We've got a lot of stores. We play across the entire spectrum. We're a great one-stop shop. We've got a great assortment. But one of the interesting themes that came through really consistently, both from our associate base and our customers, was we had an opportunity to really kind of differentiate who we are. We play in the space of love, and we need a way to build an emotional connection and really kind of connect and differentiate ourselves relative to everybody else in the market. So the way we did that is we sort of started with a new vision and mission for the company that really kind of helped set for us that sort of North Star of where we wanted to head, where we sort of aspire to be. So I'm going to throw our vision up on the screen, and that tagline is kind of what I just mentioned. It really is kind of that who we aspire to be, how we want to vet all of our decisions against to make sure we're heading in the right direction. And by the way, who we aspire to be means we're not there yet, right? This is where we want to go. This is where we want to get to. And it all centers around those first few words. We love pets. Right? We obviously love our own pets, that's a given, but we love caring for your pets when they're in our store and when they're in our care for things like hotel or grooming or services. And we love adoptable pets and hopefully are helping find them their forever homes. This is not only about our own pets. We are generally a company of animal lovers, and we want to be there to help care for and fulfill and make sure that you and your pets have happy, fulfilling lives. So we love pets, and we believe pets make us better people. PetSmart will be the trusted partner to pet parents and pets in every moment of their lives. So what does that mean? It pretty much means no matter what product or service or concern or information or advice you need or want, we want to be the one you look to be your partner in that journey that you and your pet are going on, and that we want to be the one to sort of help you meet that need.